Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Studio Ghibli Month here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, guys, I'm checking out a film from 1988. That movie is My Neighbor Totoro. Now, I do know a little bit about this movie. I know more about the history of the movie than the film itself. I do know the movie's about a kid who runs into the Totoro, which I believe are supposed to be like a species of wood spirits, or something. It's real vague. I'm not entirely certain. What I do know about the history of this film, I know two things. One, before Disney got its hands on it, and before Fox had their hands on this back in the 90s, when My Neighbor Totoro was first released in the US, the company which had distribution rights was Troma. Yes, guys, Troma, the studio known for films such as The Toxic Avenger, The Class of Nukem High, and Redneck Zombies, had this movie in their catalog for couple of years. I know that. I also know that when My Neighbor Totoro was first put in theaters, it was put out as part of a double feature with my favorite Ghibli flick of all time, which is Grave of the Fireflies. And they put Totoro on second, I guess, to kind of lessen the blow of the absolutely depressing wonder that is Grave of the Fireflies. So I'm going to assume that this movie's not going to be an ultra-deep, real dark thing if it was trying to counterbalance that shit in Grave of the Fireflies. I'm still hoping for the movie to be good, though. I have no idea. A lot of people have told me it's awesome, but those people who tell me that are normally the same ones who say that anything from Hayao Miyazaki is awesome without question, and as Howl's Moving Castle showed me, he is capable of making failure. Now, that of course has nothing to do with this film. I do have the highest hopes on this movie being decent, and the only way I'm going to find out is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out My Neighbor Totoro. Well, I can say this much, guys. So far, this movie's off to a really slow start. It's not a bad start. It's just, it's sort of taken a while for them to really get things flowing. Which, I'm kind of hoping that the movie picks it up a little bit. But so far, though, guys, the story here is pretty cool. Okay, I have a question. It's kind of a dumb one. Hopefully, the movie will clarify this as we go on. So is Totoro the name of the really big cat-like forest spirit thing? Or is Totoro the name of the entire species of cat-like forest spirits we've seen so far? I ask because the movie has implied both of those to be true, and it's just kind of doing my head in as I try to figure out if Totoro is the name of only one of these things, or like a general name for the entire species of... And again, I can only call them cat-like because that's what they kind of look like. They kind of look like a cat-bear mix. Kind of cute, I am going to say. I'm just hoping that the movie will tell me if Totoro is the name of just one or all of them. And until then, it's just going to bother me a bit, I guess. Okay. I just saw a 12-legged cat with headlights for eyes just pick up Totoro, just going to assume Totoro's just the name of the big one, and just sort of run off. I don't know what that was supposed to mean, but it looked cool, I can say that much. The whole idea of like a 12-legged fucking like headlight-eyed cat. Sort of cool. God, that was just sort of weird, though. Cool, but kind of weird. Okay, so May, the youngest sister, has gone missing. They are out in the country. There is woodlands and forest everywhere. It is known that she has claimed to see forest spirits and is friends with them. Nobody's looked in the forest yet. I understand that this honestly is all because her mother's mystery illness has gotten worse, or she's gone into a relapse, or the movie's real cryptic as to what the fuck's going on with Mom outside of she's sick and dying. But nobody bothered to look in the woods yet? Honest to God, every single person's been like sticking to the roads. Oh wait, looks like Satsuki's finally going in. No, she's not going into the forest. She's still sticking to the fucking roads. I saw her run right past like the temple stairs that go right to the. Why is no one looking in the fucking forest, man? That's really starting to bug me. Well, guys, that was My Neighbor Totoro. Let me shut that off. Okay. Alright, writing. Let's start with the writing. I mentioned earlier in this video that this movie started off real slow, and normally, guys, that would be a horrible thing for a movie to have a really slow start and have kind of terrible pacing. The problem here is that what I thought was a slow start was a plotless movie going out of its way to go nowhere. And I don't want people to take that as a horrible negative. I'm just citing it for what it is. This movie doesn't have a goddamn plot to speak of. And in this instance, that kind of works. You see, folks, I'm going to stress this right now. There's a world of difference between a children's film and a family film. A children's film can be absolutely plotless fluff that is just going to keep kids interested for an hour, hour and a half, whatever. A family film usually has a touch more substance, actually has a plot, has conflict, has shit that you can worry about. And while there is a little bit of substance here, and there is a little bit of conflict, even though that conflict ultimately goes unfucking resolved, it is ultimately just a pointless fucking exercise in watching kids play with a giant furry forest spirit cat thing. That, and even then, that's only for like the last half of the film, in all seriousness. So, yeah, there really isn't much here in terms of plot. However, though, what is here at least kind of works, but do not go into this thing expecting anything ultra deep. If you want to know how shallow this film really is, our one lone piece of conflict is the fact that Satsuki and Mei, our two main characters, have to deal with the fact that their mother is in the hospital, with what the film never fucking says. So it could be anything from cancer to a flesh-eating virus. Nobody fucking knows. We just know that she's in the hospital. And then we get to the real, like, third act thing where the family gets a telegram saying that mother's condition has gotten worse, and now everyone's worried that she might die. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a spoiler, because we do see her in the hospital later, and she doesn't know what the big deal is. It's just a fucking cold. That means that whatever mystery illness she has is so fucking deadly that a cold can kill you. I actually do have a couple of theories on that, but I don't want to get ultra dark here when the film itself isn't trying to be real dark. And that's really the one lone conflict we have is Mom is in the hospital sick. With what? Fuck you, that is fucking what? She's in the hospital when the film starts. She's in the hospital when the film ends. Alright? The only other conflict which even stems up from that is, out of sheer grief because Mom's condition has gotten worse, Mei goes missing. And the entire neighborhood, this entire farm village, goes absolutely apeshit trying to find her. And apparently, even though there's so many people and they're combing every inch of the area, they don't fucking find her. I don't even know where in the hell I am not going to spoil as to where they found her, but apparently nobody bothered to look in that one area. I actually thought that maybe she was just in the fucking forest and she was talking with fucking like Totoro and the soot and the soot gremlins and all that other shit. But no. She was just out somewhere. I'm not going to spoil that much for you. So, and even that guy's is basically there for no other reason than to once more show off the cat bus, the fucking 12-legged cat who functions like a fucking bus. That's really the only reason why that conflict is there, is to justify bringing the cat bus back. Ultimately, guys, this film does not have a whole lot of story, and you're watching it specifically just to watch a little fucking slice of friggin' life of these two kids who've been forced to move into a rotted out, rattle fucking trap, supposedly haunted house, and play with a fat wood spirit cat thing. That, honest to God, guys, is the only reason why you are watching this thing, because there sure as hell isn't any real plot to go by beyond that, and there really is almost no character depth outside of mom is sick and dad is a teacher. That's all you have for fucking character depth. Oh, and Satsuki and Mei are sisters, and they argue like sisters, and they play with Totoro, and they want to grow trees. At least in one scene. Anyway, writing here, guys, I would almost want to say what fucking writing, and that normally is a bad thing. But again, children's film, I can totally let almost all of that slide, because frankly, kids are not going to notice a bit of that. Kids are not going to care. So every single fault I have is because I am a jaded 3-year-old who's watching a movie intended for children and trying to get substance out of it. That right there is all on me. Perhaps if I was watching this with kids and the kids were fucking wide-eyed and mystified by everything which they saw, I would probably be far less harsh on it. But the fact that I'm watching it here and I'm watching it fucking alone, and there was almost no plot to speak of, I kind of feel like my time may have been a little bit wasted. Not horribly wasted, just the writing could have been a hell of a lot better wasted. That's kind of sort of where I'm going there. So writing here is fine in terms of a children's film. I was kind of sort of expecting something a little bit deeper. Oh well, shit happens. Our acting. I didn't care for the acting in this one. Once more, I was watching the English dub, and Disney decided that for our two sisters, we were going to get Dakota Fanning and her sister Elle Fanning. The problem with that is that Elle Fanning, I don't know how old she was when she did this, she sucks. She sucks fat, hard-throbbing dick in terms of actually making a performance fucking memorable. She doesn't sound like she cares at all. She doesn't sound like she's putting any effort into a single one of her lines. And frankly, I can say almost the same thing about her sister. Dakota Fanning, who plays fucking Satsuki, isn't trying at all. There is very little effort put into this on both of their parts. And the fact is, we're following these two fucking characters. The very fact that they have almost no personality to speak of is probably one of the reasons why there's not a whole lot of effort going into the acting. However, though, my God, I was still expecting a little bit better. And, I think also part of the problem is that a whole lot of the script is just yelling. Like, honest to God, there is an absolutely inordinate amount of yelling in this fucking movie. So, we have these two children, and they're sitting in the fucking booth, and they have to yell. And child actors, I've learned from years of watching movies, they don't know how to yell and act at the same time. So they're either yelling or they're actually putting effort into putting feeling into what they say. They never, as children, learned how to blend those. And Dakota and Elle Fanning are a perfect example of that. Neither of them are fucking trying when they're asked to yell, and they're barely trying when they're asked to put some fucking effort in. And the rest of our cast actually turns in a fantastic job. I will say that I also was expecting a touch more when I found out that Frank fucking Welker was the voice of both the Cat Bus and Totoro. The Cat Bus is just Welker doing his normal cat sounds, and that's totally fine. But Totoro is just this low guttural growl that just kind of sort of sounds like Welker wishes he was doing like the voice of Darkseid or Soundwave or any of the other ultra deep voice characters he's voiced in the fucking past. Only now he can't actually speak. It's just basically guttural noises, and that's probably because that's probably because in the original Japanese the character didn't have a whole lot to fucking say. But if it seriously was just guttural bullshit noises, then why the hell bother dubbing it in the first place? Why not just throw the original Japanese audio for both fucking Totoro and Cat Bus and throw those in here? It really did seem like a pointless dub, and it just didn't feel natural. It just kind of felt almost like a lazy phone in from Frank fucking Welker. I never thought I'd say that Frank Welker phoned it in, but that's kind of how it seemed here. Mind you guys, again, even honestly when he's fucking phoning it in, Welker is still able to do a good job. But I've heard the man do better, I've seen him do better. I was expecting better when Disney's asking him to fucking dub something. That's really my one point there. So yeah, the acting minus a couple of small hitches is fine. Music here is amazing. Animation, as has been the pattern with Studio Ghibli, animation here is gorgeous and breathtaking. There are some scenes here that border on absolutely masterful. That, to me, guys, is probably the one real saving grace here. Is besides the fact that the characters are suffering of what I am going to start calling fucking Ghibli face, where everybody's got the same 5 or 6 fucking faces. Beyond that, though, when it comes to actual movement and animation and the way that the trees sway and that the grass moves, all of that is fucking beautiful. And when you actually have to animate Totoro, or you have to animate the soot, sprites, or the soot gremlins, whatever the fuck they want to call them, or the cat bus, all of that is animated beautifully. And if there's any reason to sit down and watch this, because you sure as hell are not going to be watching it for the plot, because there isn't one, then yeah, you're totally going to be watching it because the animation is that fucking beautiful. The music is that awesome. And what little story is here, at least, is going to keep you interested. Guys, when all is said and done, am I able to recommend My Neighbor Totoro? Yes, as long as you have kids. If you have kids nearby, I don't care if they're your kids, I don't care if they're your grandkids, I don't care if they're your nieces and nephews. Your kids are gonna love this thing. They are gonna absolutely adore it. And it's a perfectly harmless film. Children are gonna absolutely love it. And if you are looking for a beautiful looking, albeit plotless film, then also, by all means, check it out. However, if you're looking for something a little bit deeper, you're looking for something with a little bit more polish to it, perhaps, maybe something with an actual story, you're probably going to want to avoid this because in terms of story and in terms of depth, this film is basically drawing out of a dry fucking well. But once more, this movie wasn't going for deep. This movie wasn't going for a nuanced story. It just wanted something pretty for children and families to watch and have fun with. And god damn it, it totally does that. And because of that, I can absolutely recommend it. However, I don't think I will be keeping it in my personal collection, just because while it was interesting to watch, I really don't think I'm going to want to watch it a second time. And that really is the one thing I can totally say. Most people I know are going to absolutely adore this film, and they are justified in doing so. However, just simply the fact that the story is just not there. The characters are that shallow. It all kind of killed it for me personally. So even though I personally am not keeping it, I know for a fact a lot of you guys are probably going to absolutely love it, especially once more if you have children. Kids are going to absolutely eat this shit up, and it's probably going to be a film that is going to stick with them for a long time. Now, My Neighbor Totoro came off the Amazon wish list. The person who sent it in was a YouTuber by the name of Taking of Pelamiffy. Dude, thank you. I've been curious about this movie for years, and I finally had my chance to watch it. And even though it wasn't quite what I was expecting, it was still totally worth totally worth watching, and I would not have known that if you hadn't have sent it in, and for that, I thank you. You're fucking awesome. Once more, guys, his YouTube channel is youtube.com/user/taking of Pelamiffy. Swing over there. Check out anything that he has. I don't know what to really say. Honest to God, guys, was kind of sort of expecting something a little bit deeper. I'm gonna go browse around in my Blu-ray collection. Gonna see if I can find something with perhaps maybe a little bit more depth, or maybe something a little bit more fun. What the hell do I have? Iron Sky. It's not deep, but god damn it, it's been like a year since I last watched it, and that movie is still fucking awesome. I'm gonna go and watch that, and hopefully the next movie I do for this month will be a little bit more. We'll probably have a little bit more plot than fucking Totoro, but then again, that really isn't saying a whole lot. Anyway, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.